Hello students, welcome to your Android User Interface session 21. So this is the last session of your current course. So in this session we'll be revising something about layouts and we'll be doing an exercise using another type of layout. So last exercise we did something about the coordinator layout, and in this session we'll do an exercise on constraint layout. So today's exercise on constraint layout is something like this that you see on your screen. So we'll be creating a view, something similar that is here, with an image with some text fields and a tab structure here and a button here. So to create something like this, let's go to our Android Studio and let's start with a new layout. So this is the old coordinator sample 1, the exercise that we did in the last session. So for this session we'll create a new layout file and we'll call it constraint sample underscore 2, and this will be a constraint layout. So this is your constraint layout. You need to select a constraint layout and put in any name, file name for the constraint layout, and click OK. So now this is your constraint layout that has been made. So now before moving on with the creation of the page, what we need to do is we need to change the root layout name in our Java file. So this will be, rather than coordinator, it will be constraint sample 2. So this is our name, constraint sample 2, which we need to add here, and the rest of the elements we can just comment, and even here we can comment all this. So we just need our Java class with the current XML file name. So if you see our sample here, so initially we'll have to populate an image view. So we'll have to find the image view from our palette, and we'll drag and drop the image view inside here. So now this will ask for a image. So now we can select an image that we have kept here and click OK. So here we'll add the constraint to the top, constraint to the left, and constraint to the right. So if you remember in our constraint layout session, we had studied that the property of any view inside the constraint layout, it needs to have one vertical constraint and one horizontal constraint. That is the minimum requirement that a view needs to have inside a constraint layout. So after providing the constraints to the sides, we can change the image for the match constraint for the image view. Also, if you see our exercise screen, we don't have any spaces at the edges. So what we can do is we can change the spacing to 0 from the edges, from all the sides. Also the height, here the layout width and the layout height can be defined. The layout width is perfectly fine, it is 0 dB, but height needs to be defined statically. So let's put in 200 dB. So now the height will be 200 dB for this, and we can check here. Also we need to add a property which is scale type. scale type center crop property. So this property will make the image cover the whole area from the center. So now our image is set according to our exercise screen. So now what we need is some text views. So for that, let's go into the design and see the text palettes. So we have plain text, password, email. So we don't have it. So let's go into the all section and see. So here we can find the text view. So we can just drag and drop it. So now I'll add this text view, the top of the text view with the bottom of the image view. And if we see this programmatically, we can see that this layout constraint top to the bottom of. So here is the relation of this text view from top to the bottom of the image view. So the ID of the image view is 5. So it has already given a default property of constraint top underscore to the bottom of image view. So whenever we add any constraint, whenever we join any two views, basically we need to add or supply a property of constraint top to the bottom of, right to the bottom of, or right to the top of. So these are the basic properties that show us that which view is joined to the other view in which way. So now here we need to join this side, the left side, to the main parent. So now this is joined to the parent side as well. So this will be the layout is joined from the left and to the left of the parent. So now what we can do here is we can increase the margin from the top and the side so that we can see the spacing, and also what we can do is we can set the text. So here the text can be username, this is the text that we want to show to the user. So now after doing the text view, we move on to the normal entry field for the name, so which can be a normal plain text. So here we can add this view and add constraints to this view. So this will be, we've added the constraints to this view. So this is just one of the ways you can add the constraint. You can join the two views in a constraint, but there is another way which is a better way to do it. So for example, we need to align these two views. So the username view here, the text view here, should be aligned with the normal plain text here. So for that, what we can do is we can click on this AB, and there's this line that you'll hover over and you see this line turning green. So this is the alignment line, and as soon as we join the alignment lines with each other of the username and the text view, the text view gets aligned with the username automatically. And if we go into the text area, the code area, so we can see the edit text here, the constraint baseline, this is the baseline parameter. So the constraint baseline for the edit text is aligned with the baseline of the text view here. So this is exactly what we've done. So this is one is text view and one is edit text. So this is our text view, this is edit text. So the edit text baseline is aligned to the text view. So edit text baseline is aligned with the text view. So this is how we can or we should align the elements with each other in this case, in the case where we need to align them horizontally in front of each other, and we can use this baseline alignment. So now what we can do is we can just manage the width of the view. So here we can just keep the padding to 16. Here also we can increase the padding to 16, but all the internal space that can be covered by the view. So now the text, the edit text has the maximum amount of area. So now after adding these two views, we need to add two more views, one for password and one for the edit text password. So for the text view, what we can just add another view here, and we can either attach the left edge to the parent, or we can directly attach the left edge to the username edit text view. So here we have attached the view with the left edge of the username view, and we can appropriately set the distance from the above view. And so now here is the second view, and we need to keep the margins exactly the same as that are kept here. So for this, what we can do is 16 and 24. So here we can keep the same margin, 16. And from the top we can attach it to the top and add 30 as the height from the top. So here we can reduce it to 0 because we have already taken the width from the username. So this is how the second text view will look like, and we can just give it a name, some text that can be written inside it, that can be password. So this is the text view, and now we can add another text, plain text here for writing the password. Here, rather than adding a normal plain text view, what we can do is we can add a password view, which will have the properties of a password edit text. So for alignment, let's add this to the top view here and keep the margin or padding as, and similarly add the right edge to the right of the top view and margin and padding as 0. And here we can change it to match constraints to take up the whole space in between. So the advantage of doing or attaching the bottom of the view, the bottom view with the top edge of the top view, is that if we change the padding or margin for the top view, then all the margins don't need to be changed individually for each views. They will take up the same margin and padding for the view that they are attached with. So for example, if we change margin for the first view, the second view, the margin for the second view will also change automatically. Here also we can just align this view with here so that the alignment is done properly. And in order to see this, we can just see our view here, and here we can add a hint. We can add a hint property, which can be password, and also here we can add a hint which can be username. So if we see this in our actual design, so we can see the name and the password hints. So now our page till this point is made, and now we need to focus on these three image views. So if you focus on these three image views, you will notice that they are occupying equal space. So this is done with the help of weight property. We have studied the weight property earlier as well, so we'll just revise how this weight property is helpful to us. So here let me just drag and keep a image button. So we can just use the IC image launcher image here and attach this with the top of the password text view. So also we can just keep the increase the height from that text view at approximately, let's keep it at 45. So now another image view needs to be brought here. So this can be the IC launcher again, and we can use another image view which can be the same IC launcher, and this can be deleted because this is not an image view. So let's bring another image view which is the IC launcher. So here are three image views. So now what we need to do is attach them from the top so that the top constraint for each image view is set. So now we have joined it from the top, and we can just give the margin from the top equally for all of them. So now they are at a equal distance from the top view, which is at a 32 pixel dp distance. So now what we need to do is we need to attach the left edge to this, and the right edge of this to the right edge of the top, and remove any excess padding that is there. So if you notice, this has a top constraint and a left constraint. One is horizontal vertical constraint. This also has a vertical horizontal constraint, but this view only has a top constraint, vertical constraint. So now what we need to do is we need to attach this right edge to the left edge, and to the left edge to the right edge. So now this will come in the middle. So though now it is in the middle, but the weights are still not attached or set. So for setting the weights, what we need to do is interlink all of them. It's like a chain. So there'll be a chain symbol which will show here that all are interlinked and they form a chain once the weight is set. So for doing that, like we have attached the middle image views, this point to the left side of the first image view, and the right side left side of the the right side of the third image view, we need to put a reverse connection also. So we need to attach this the right side of the first image view to this point here. So if I try to bring this point and connect it to this point, you will notice that nothing happens. There is no connection when I do this. So the reason is that we cannot do it directly this way. So for doing this, what we need to do is go back to our code, and here is the image view that we have selected, and so in this image view we need to add the constraint, the right constraint parameter, which is constraint right to the left of. So here we are adding the right constraint to the left of. Now we need to add the view which we are adding here. So our view here is left of at id, and this is so this is our image view 6. Let's copy this and bring it here. So now if you see this, if you see after putting this code, now once you click on this, there's a chain formation. So this shows that the reverse, these two views are joined together in the forward order also and in the reverse order also. So now similarly we need to add the constraint in this view also. So for that what we can do is similarly left constraint left to the right of image view 6. So now if you click on this, so you'll see a chain formation here also. So now this means that it is joined from this side, from this image view to this image view, and from this image view to this image view. So now you can see actual white spaces in between. So here that means that the view can actually take up more space. So what we can do is go to this and we can just add the match constraints for this image view, for this image view, and for the third image view. So now all of them will take up equal amount of space. So this is the equal amount of space that they can take up. And to see, we can add a background color to each one of them. So this is the accent background color, and for here what we can do is background and let's say primary color, and for the third one let's put in background accent light. So these three colors denote the background and the area that they are occupying. Here the spacing, as you can see, there is some white spacing in between the images. So that is because of the padding that is there. So you can remove them if you want to, and the space will be gone. So now there is no space. Here for the three image views, we can also set weight directly inside the code by constraint horizontal weight equal to 1. So the same thing can be applied to the other two image views. So that can be done here, and the third view here. So all three have equal weights now. So now if we go back to our exercise screen, so this is, we have done all our elements, we've added all our elements till this point. So now what we need to do is just add a button and a forgot password text. So adding a button here is pretty simple. We just search out the, we can just search the button here and just drag and paste it. And once we are done, we can attach it to the edges, and the extra padding spaces can be removed from here, and we can set it to match constraint so that it covers the whole width of the section. And we can change the text of the button here. So the text can be enter or any other text that you want. So let's see how it looks like here. So this is our button text here, enter. So So here there is a error at the button that this view is not constrained vertically. So now we need to attach it to the vertical section. So we can see here that it is attached vertically also. So now the error might have gone. Yes. So the error is now removed. So now for the text view, we'll add a text view and attach it to the sides for the constraints. So now it's attached to all sides. Then we can change the padding. We can remove the padding, excess padding from the sides, and just change the text as forgot password. So if we just see this in our text field, in our actual view here, so here we have our text forgot password, we have our button enter, we have 3 image views, we have our edit text view, and we have our text view here, and we have our image view which is center cropped. So the basic purpose of this constraint layout is to maintain a flat view hierarchy. This is one of the very important properties of constraint layout, that it follows a flat view hierarchy. So we should always remember this while using a constraint layout. So if we run this program on our emulator, so it will look something like this, where you can just type in your name or username or password, and you can just see them in action. So these are your image views, and this is your forgot password link and your enter button. So today's session, we have covered the constraint layout, which is the flattest hierarchy layout, and which is good in terms of loading the screens faster because there is no interdependency. It just loads faster. The flatter the hierarchy, the faster the view loads. So after today's session, we have covered almost all the things that were needed to be covered in the Android designing course. So these are all the elements, views, everything that we've covered up till now in the last 21 session that covers everything under the Android's designing course. So after going through these 21 videos and taking the quizzes and assignments along, it is expected that you would have learned something about Android design. If you have any doubts or if you want to ask any questions, please write into us. You can email us. You can just directly contact us, and we'll help you out. And all the best for your future.